Okay, so everyone got the invite to the Siyum. Hopefully, we'll see everybody there. It would be very, very nice. It's a large Masechta, and it's worthy of a nice Siyum. We have we have more people coming from outside, from other members of the shul, so it should be a Kiddush Shem Shemayim. Okay, we're up to Kufna. Well, Kufna based on it base. You have to Kufna based on it base, and we're discussing what?
Those doesn't know
what
we're having.
No, again, we're not discussing.
What's on the menu?
What's on the menu? Yeah, someone's asking me over here. Tachlis is I'm not taking care of the food. I'm just taking care of the money from us.
Baruch Hashem.
Avrami Schoenfeld hired a caterer, so I assume it's going to be a catered affair.
Sounds good to me.
Now, it won't be as good as someone bringing brisket and other stuff, but again, that was yeah. Bring some beef jerky. Listen, bring your beef jerky. We'll pass it out, and everyone will be happy.
Okay.
Big people go to his house, $30 a buck, get $90 brisket.
Yeah. Okay. So we were discussing the dead. We're discussing the dead. When the dead people they come back, they come back whole, or they're made to dust. We had Meiser of Nachman of Rechai Bar Yoshia, and he told him you learn Behelis, you learn Kesuvim, you learn Nevi'im. And now we're up to it. Gets a little more interesting. So it gets a little more interesting. So he says, "Amalei Tzidoki l'Rebavo." We have 4 lines from the bottom on Nun Kufnum base on the base. Amarisa nishmashim tzadikim kinuzes tachas kisei hakavod. You say that the neshamas of tzadikim they're hidden underneath the kisei hakavod. That the special kisei hakavod where the neshamas lie. That special place. I have a whole shot that I've shared with you. It's a special place for Basa V'Dam that Achameres Mishanim. Malachim can't get to Kisei HaKavod. It's a special place that we say that the Neshamas are the Nutzais Tachas Kisei HaKavod. No one else gets there. It's a special place. So he said, listen. So he asked this to Rabbi Vo. What did he ask him? It said, Oiva Tamya Heichi Aske L'Shmuel Ben Agida. Now there's a Maisa guys in Shmuel. I think it's Perek of Ches, where Shaul is going to war against the Plishtim. He doesn't know what to do. He asks all kinds of ways that are kosher ways, and he's not answered what to do in battle. He therefore goes to Eindor and he calls up a Balasov. Now, Balasov are people who bring up the dead. They are anyone who practices that is Mechuyev Skila. Anyone who goes there is over an alav. Not getting into the halach ramifications. He goes there and he calls up Shmuel, and lo and behold, Shmuel appears. So the question is, if you're tachas kisei hakavod, how are you able to just appear? In other words, the chora, once you're set in your way, you're set in your way. Once you're set in your way, you're set in your way. So how can you bring him back? So Amalei, so Rabbi Vo told him, Hasan b'tech shnei masachai dishave. There he was able to bring him back because it was in 12 months of his patira. The Tanya, Kol Yud Beis Chaydesh Gufay Kayim, all 12 months the guf exists, and the Shmasei Oilu B'Yaredes, and the guf is intact in the ground, and the neshama goes back and forth. However, Lachi Yud Beis Chaydesh, after Yud Beis Chaydesh, Haguf Batel, the guf goes ahead and decomposes, the Neshmasa Oilu B'Shuv and Yared. It goes up and it never comes back. Taisus points out there are certain scenarios where it does come back, but in fact, it's not the common, it's not the norm. I will tell you, just to go off on a tangent a little bit, the Maisa with Shaul is a fascinating Maisa, what happened with Shaul. Because Shmuel says a very interesting lashon. It stims very well with our Gemara, because he says, Loma hir gastani. Why did you go ahead and star me from this place? Because Shmuel had not yet been called to the Yom Hadin. It seems that there's 12 months, when it says over here, there's 12 months to be called to the Yom Hadin. It's not shot you die and you get your judgment right away. Shmuel thought he was being called to the Yom Hadin. And we're told by Chazal that he did not come up alone. When Shaul asked the lady what you saw, she said, Elohim Roy Oilam. I see Elohim, Lashon Rabbim. Shmuel had called Moshe Rabbeinu to testify on his behalf. Shmuel had called Moshe Rabbeinu to testify on his behalf. It was a fascinating Gemara. So it fits in very well over here. That was within 12 months. and therefore he was able to go ahead on and have this ability to go back and forth because he hadn't been called up yet.
How did it be Moshe Rabbeinu?
What?
How did it be Moshe Rabbeinu then?
How did he bring Moshe Rabbeinu?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Moshe Rabbeinu was dead more than 12 months.
Again, if you look at Tosfos, it means it's not common, but it can be done. Let's see the Tosfos. Nishmas Oilav Shuvin Yaredes. Afal Pikain Kishi. He writes he Yaredes. When the Neshama wants, it can come back. Okay, he did the elder of Achei Bar Yoshia, which said the Gemara yesterday. This guy, they studied this person of Achei Bar Yoshia from and he was and he had a whole conversation with Rav Nachman. And there's a Gemara in Rabbana, and there's a Gemara with Avram Avinu sitting outside the cave with Eliezer and Avram, and there's a Maisa that Yaakov Avinu, and there's a Maisa with Yehuda Nasi used to come back every year of Shabbos to make Kiddush. I mean, there's a lot of cases like that. But again, by and large, in general, that's the norm. By and large, the norm is that you can't come back. We're talking about the physical form coming back here. We're talking about the saying. Well, the neshama also, but I'm saying they say there's a zoyar that the neshamas come to simchis. It's a zoyar. Yemendi, you have your hand up?
Yeah, there on your part, is there a way you can raise the volume?
I might raise. I'll try to. Sure. Let me see. Let me see.
Please, thank you.
My pleasure.
I don't think there is, Laser. I think, Mendy, you got to raise your volume.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Something died out over here. Something's not working on my part.
Okay, I'm on 100, so I don't think I can raise it higher.
Move it to 102.
Okay, thank you.
So many years and he hasn't moved at all.
No.
Not one little bit.
Okay. Now, continuing on. Amrav Yehuda, Braid of Shmuel Bar Shilas Mishmei Rav. Mespedel Shel Adam, from the hesped of a person, Nikarim Ben Olam Haba Hu Im Lav. It's recognizable whether he's a Ben Olam Haba or not. If he's kosher or not. If the people are crying, they're moedin demayis, and they speak with shvachai. Fred the Gemara Ini, is it really so that, in other words, you only find out that the person is Ben Olam Haba if only what? After the Levaya. In other words, if they speak about him in a positive way and he has a very, very strong impact, then you know. V'amalei Rav Rav Shmuel Bar Shilas, Rav told Rav Shmuel Bar Shilas, listen, Achim Bespeda, be machim, be warm in the hesped. In other words, be emotional in the hesped. The hosok imna, because I'll be there, I'll be listening, and make me emotional hesped. So mashma that what? Can't think of a bigger Ben Olam Haba than what than Rav. And yet Rav is telling him, go ahead and make an emotional hesped. So you see that you don't find out after the emotional hesped where the person is a Ben Olam Haba. You would know beforehand. So it's a steering, and they obey. It's contradictory. And for the Gemara like Kash, it's not a problem, right? It's not a problem. You should go ahead and give a hesped that's very emotional. They give a warm hesped. So they give a warm hesped, and the people are emotionally moved. And and there's a spadim that the person speaks everything, and you walk away feeling like. So in other words, the hesped has to be a warm hesped, like Rob said. The reaction to that hesped is depending upon whether the person's a ben olam haba or not. If he's a ben olam haba, the reaction will be one of emotion, and if it's not, it'll be one of indifference. Amalei, such interesting to know. My son told me we never say olam haba, we say a ben olam haba. Because there's no olam haba. There's a ben olam haba, meaning there's like a coil. You know what? What's a bas coil? Why don't you say the word coil? Because coil is too powerful. You can't hear directly from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You can only hear like an echo, the bas coil, right? That's the daughter of the coil. So ben olam haba. Olam haba is something that is beyond anybody. So all you can be is a ben olam haba. You can be what? It's something that you reflect in that way. Boy minei balaza meirav ezel ben olam haba. Amalei, it says, "V'oznecha tishmana dava me'acharecha leimar," and your ears will hear behind you something saying, "Zeh derech l'chuboy, kisaminu v'chisasmi'ilu." You go to the right, I'll go to the right. You go to the left, I'll go to the left. So that a person is a ben alam haba that you're willing to follow. If the Rebbe is happy with him, then he's a ben alam haba. Notice the Rebbe, not the mother, not the father, the Rebbe. Says the Maharal. When it comes to your toast. Anyway, so when it comes to a child, a family is very, very has certain negias. So they won't see naturally what the flaws are. But a Rebbe who says, Rebbe who knows the child, and a Rebbe who doesn't have that physical negias to the child, the blood negias to the child, if he says he's a good guy, then he's a ben alam haba.
Wow, bigger price on the Rebbe. Better start working at it. And the bigger price on the Rebbe, huh?
What? No, the Rebbe doesn't decide it.
Right.
The Rebbe doesn't decide it.
I think it's a price from the town. Nice try.
Oh, were you here? Yeah. No light stuff?
No, he's so happy not to be months. He's awake. Okay, the pasuk says, "Ki holacha adam el beis alamai v'savavai b'shuk hasoiftim," right? And b'sav b'shuk hasoiftim. Again, this is we've been discussing this pasuk in Perek Yud Beis from Koheles, and we're going over it in different things. So we discussed that a person's youth, and then a person's old age, and then a person krechtzing, and now we're discussing a person's death. So it's very interesting. Galili Omar, this pasuk that they said Saibashuk by Saiftim means Asay Devarim. They should mention by Yehesped Lefnei Mitascha. It should be they stand in front of the mace. But in the Yehuda army in the southern part of Eretz Yisrael, Asay Devarim, they should mention things la'achem mitascha, that after loy pligi is not machloikis whether you stand before the mace or behind the mace. Marki asrei ma asrei. In Bnei Gol they stood in front, and Bnei Yehud they stood in the back. Each place had their own minik. Tan Hassam, Rabbi Eliezer Omer, shuv yom echad lefnei mitzascha. Do tshuva one day before you die. Shol tamim Rabbi Eliezer, v'chiyadim yidei ezeh yamas. Do you know which day you're going to die? Sam lehem v'kol shekain. Certainly, it makes good sense. Since you don't know the day you're going to die, you should go ahead and do tshuva. Yashiva yom shema yamas l'macha v'nimsa kol yom of tshuva. There's a marsha that says, guys, the marsha. We had in the Gemara with David. Guys, remember, David wanted to know the day of his patira. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, no one can know the day of the patira. Why? Because then you do tshuva. This Gemara, do tshuva one day before you die. Guys, it's like inside info, inside trading. You'll have a good tip. Oh, I got a good tip. I'll do tshuva. No, so no person can know the day they die. It's very interesting. Huh? David didn't know the day he's going. He told him to die on a Shabbos. You know which Shabbos? You don't know which Shabbos. He told him he was going to die on a Shabbos. So David was learning the whole time, and he ended up. Remember the Malach Haftim, right? Malach Haftim. Okay. Anyway, the Kolshkein said Yoshev Hayom Yeshem Yamis L'Machar V'Nimsa Kol Yom B'Tshuva. The whole day is the B'Tshuva. Yav Shlomo Omer B'Chachmaslo. Shlomo said B'Chol Leis Yir B'Godecha Levonim. All your days, your godim should be white. V'Shemen Al Roshcha Al Yachsar. You should always be look your best, and you should have shemen on. Put the good stuff in your hair. A little brill cream, a little dabble duya. Amar Rabbi Yochanan and Zakkai. Mashal Melech. It's a mashal to a melech. Shezimin es avodah v'suda v'loy kavalem zman. Yochanan and Zakkai says, what's the mashal about life? Is that a person is invited to invite a king invites his avodim to a suda, and he doesn't tell him when it's going to be. So picking shebehem kishtu esatzman, they put on the tuxedos or tuxedos. V'yashvay al Pesach Beis HaMelech, and they sit there. They're waiting there. Amru klum chas lebeis HaMelech. Is anything missing to Beis HaMelech? Nothing. So we have to be ready at any time. So tipshin shebehem, the fools think holchul malachtam, we'll go to work. Amru klum yesh suda b'lei tareach. There's no suda without food, so we got to go ahead. The pisam bikesh melech is avodav. Immediately the melech calls everyone. This pisam means you're done. It's finished. Pichim shebehem nichmasu lefanav kashem mikushatim. The smart guys, they enter. They're ready. They're in the tuxedos. But tipshin nichmasu lefanav kashem luchlachim. They enter in the shmutzadika clothing, kleda. Right. Samach hamelech likras pichim. He's happy to see the people well dressed. The koyas likras tipshim, and he's angry. These people who are meluchlach. Some halalu shekishtu esatzim. Suda Yeshru v'yoichlu. The ones who are dressed are doing correctly, they should eat from the Suda. They'll be safe to the next world. V'yishtu. Olu shaloi kishtu atzman l'Suda namdu v'yiru. They can stand and they can see. So here as well, the Noilu has Abba, the Tzaddikim, they sit and they eat, and Rishayim, they stand and watch. Now, L'char is standing and watching is also Madrega, right? So the Schas Neishel Reb Meir, right? We're meeting the whole Mishpacha Reb Meir. We just mentioned, we met Zivud, what was his name? Bruya's brother, right? Is the Shvaga of Reb Meir. We just met a few dafim ago. Here we meet is the father-in-law. Chas Neishel Reb Meir Ama, he says, if you're showing Mastiniyim, Afim Nirim Kemishamshim, they're part of the game. They just don't get to eat. They sit. Halalu oichlem, halalu re'evim. They don't get to watch. Guess what? They eat, and the other ones starve. Halalu shoysim, halalu tzemeim. They drink, and the other ones remain thirsty. Shneimar koyamar Hashem, hine avoda yachelu, ve'atem teravu. My avodim, they'll eat. You will starve. Hine avoda yishtu ve'atem tzitzmu. Hine avoda yeronu mituvlev. What does it mean on the pasuk? All your clothing should be levanim elu tzitzis. Shemen reish chalei yachzar elu tefillin. Misha hajam lecha shayel. And now we begin the last parak in the Sechta Shabbos. Yeah, it's a 5 month. It's a good chunk of change. Good chunk of change. We started. There were guys here.
Listen, Baruch Hashem, we had Shabbos. They helped us through Corona.
Yeah, listen, that definitely did. It would be much more difficult to do Erevin during Corona. Right? Okay, but guys, again, we get Pirish Chai. Get your Pirish Chai. If you didn't get it yet, go get the Pirish Chai on Erevin. We're going to be using that safer. Okay. You're coming home. It's really, really late, and you're not sure you're going to make it home for Shabbos, Erev Shabbos. You're on the derech, and you got money, you got a wallet. You're scared you're going to lose it, right? What should you do? Nois and kisel and achri. You should give it to a guy. Now, Amir al-Akim is us, so we're going to have to figure out why is there a heter over here? You give it to a guy. And if you don't have a guy, then put it on your donkey. Now, there's a mitzvah shvisa on your donkey too. So we're going to have to see why you're allowed to let your donkey carry it for you, right? Now, higil l'chatzer, as soon as you get to the first chatzer in the city, those that are not muktzah you can take. Those that are muktzah b'Shabbos, mata hachavolim, just untie the ropes. The sakim noifim me'aleim, and the sakim, the cargo that was on the donkey, will fall off. So the pecking order is first a nachri, then a donkey. First a nachri, then a donkey.
But this is, you had to be with inside the tchum already.
Again, you're walking. You're saying yeah. I mean, the problem is haitzah. The problem is you're dealing with haitzah problem, right? You're not dealing with the tchum problem. Now, my time is Sharla Rabbanon Lamesiv Kisei Lenachri. Why did Rabbanon permit you to give your wallet to a nachri? Right? Why? Says Rashi, very hard Rashi guy. My time is Sharla Lamesiv Lenachri. By who shluchai l'se'en b'Shabbos? You made him your shliach to carry it on Shabbos. I don't know. What did Rashi just say? Amir la'akim zasa. Rashi and the shlichus by God. There's no shlichus by God. It's a shver Rashi. Okay, you should do this. This is shver Rashi. If I had time, I would spend time on the Rashi. Okay. Anyway, so the point being that it's not mutter. So why was this mutter? So we have for the second time in the Masechta the concept of money. We have Yudiyus. You said Yudiyus not here. When it comes to gelds and under a velt, when it comes to money, it's a different world. People will do things for money that are shaloi v'derech hateva. You find people doing, right? You could tell a person because kasa kisei money is they say it's the root of all evil. I'm not sure, but the chachamim were yared to the safe das of a person. So, for example, if you remember regarding there was a fire in your house, we didn't let you near it. We didn't let you near it because we're scared. The closer you get, even the adam boil al mamoinoi, he's going to go ahead and put it out. Correct. So over here also, if they're not going to let you go ahead and bring your wallet home, notice we're not going to give you a workaround. If we're not going to give you something that you can go ahead and somehow get it home, you'll manage to do something that is not. But again, you see that psychologically, it's part of the DNA of a person. The Chacham are making a halacha based upon this. So it doesn't seem to be a chesaron, it seems to be mitzias. We view it as a chesaron because in these situations, we would never do such a thing. But you never know. By my oath, my brother-in-law and my brother, they got stuck on the highway. What happened was a friend of mine's car broke down. We all went, and we left, and we didn't realize we left them. And there was two people, so many people there. We left them behind, and they had to walk down the Belt Parkway. My brother, they were walking down the Belt, and it was Shabbos. So my brother buried his wallet. I mean, and after we found it after Shabbos, but he buried. I remember he told me he buried his wallet. So again, it does arise these situations. You know, can you imagine the Belt? You're going to stop a car. Are you a nachri? Do you bond taking? It's not going to happen. It doesn't happen. But anyway, so over here, my time
First, you could ask him, you a chamor would be worse. He stopped him, asked him if he's a chamor, would be worse.
Chamor lives matter.
And you have someone patrol can help.
The Shaiman patrol. Okay, anyway, so it says, my time is Shoyler Rabbanon Lamesiv Kisei L'Nachri, because Kil Rabbanon, the Ein Adam Maimid Atzmoi Al Mamoinoi, Eloi Sharvislei. So what is he going to do? So Asil Asli, Dalit Amos Shusarab. Can you imagine, guys, if you don't have a way out, you're going to leave your wallet with your credit cards and forget about it. And the picture of the picture of your wedding picture. If you lose that, your wife, it's all over. You know, there's certain things that you need in your wallet that have to be there. You know, and so you may come to carry it 4 amas. So therefore, they gave you a heta to go ahead and give it what? It's a shvus. They gave it heta to give it to a guy. Amarava dafka kisai. That's dafka a wallet. Aval mitzia. If you find a mitzia, loy. Then mitzia you can leave there. You don't have to go ahead and give it to a guy. It says Pshita. What's the chiddush? Kisai tanan. You only learn kisai. You did not learn mitzia. Why are you telling me something that I know? So by the time of the following, who are then afil mitzia? I would say mitzia also, in fact, what you can give to a guy. So why do you learn kisai? It's the normal thing that to have that you care about. Mitzia is not as common. Kamashmala, no. After kisai, you're not mitzia. And then mitzia, you don't give it to a guy. You didn't get it yet. Once it comes to your hands, it's no different than any other possession. Once it comes to your hands, you consider it yours, and you would be able to give it to a guy. It says, no, it's not so pashut. That's the case. Boy, rava mitziyas habol liyadoi, a mitziyah that comes to your hand, mahu. Even the asli yadoi kikisi dami, since it came to your hand, it's like a wallet. And therefore you can bring it home. I don't know. Even like tarachba, since you are matriach, lav kikisi dami, it's not teku. Easy come, easy go. We say that a mitziyah, right? Like something that you get easily, it's a mitzvah, right? You know, something that you pay for, you can get 2 things. You can get something as a gift and something you pay for. The exact same thing. If you pay for it, let me tell you, you're going to treat it a lot differently, right? Isn't it true?
Yeah. I don't give anything away in my business.
What?
I don't give samples away in my business.
You don't give samples away in your business. No.
I'll take the sample.
No, I know. Again, if I get something as a gift, I buy something already. It's a different schmooze. Okay. Anyway. So the heta for a guy is that the chachamim will kim ledasta of the people, that people will go ahead and chas v'shalom. They might come to carry it, and therefore what? We need an eitzah. The mom is the eitzah, give it to a guy. In lieu of the fact there's no guy, what should you do? Put it on your donkey. That's also problematic. Says the Gemara. Time with any nachri. The reason why you can put it on your donkey because there's no nachri. Hayeshim nachri lenachri yavle my timer. Why is it better to give to a guy than put it on your donkey? Why is it better to give it to a guy than put it on a donkey? My timer. Chamor at mitzuval shvisasai. The chamor you're commanded on to rest. You're commanded that your animals as well. And Nachri Yata Mitzvah Al Shvisa Slay. A Nachri, you're not commanded on Shvisa. You're not commanded on Shvisa of a Nachri. And therefore, so it's the lesser of two evils vis-a-vis Chilul Shabbos is to give it to a guy rather than give it to your donkey. That's very interesting, right? Chamor v'cher. Now, the Gemara is going to go through variables, different scenarios. What is the lesser of evils? Guys, very interesting, guys. Listen to Gemara. You have a chamor, v'cheresh, shayta v'cotton. What should you do? Should you give it to the cheresh, shayta v'cotton, or give it to the donkey? So on that, a chamor monachle. Put it on the chamor. Put it. The cheresh, shayta v'cotton lo yavle my taima. And the adam, hamilav adam. A chamor is a chamor. These are people. These are people that have what? Have issues vis-a-vis Shabbos. Nonetheless, says Rashi, you may come to go ahead and mistakenly go ahead and give it to a bardas, a pikeach, who is what, in fact, what mechuyev. So therefore, that'd be a problem. Cherish v'shaita, who do you give it to? It says, well, the shaita. You give it to the shaita. The cherish has more mental capacity than a shaita. Give it to the shaita. Shaita v'cotton. L'shaita, again, shaita v'cotton, go to the shaita. Now, obviously, why do we have to match up? Cotton and cheresh. Cotton and cheresh, what's the lesser of two evils? You can give it to the cheresh, you give it to the cotton, ibaylahu. Cheresh v'cotton mai. Vis-a-vis a cheresh v'cotton, who do you give it to? Cheresh v'cotton, who do you give it to? Now, aliba the Rebbe Eliezer like tibayalach. According to Rebbe Eliezer, we don't have any problem. The Tanya, Rebbe Yitzchak Mishum Rebbe Eliezer. Trumas cheresh, the truma that is separated by a cheresh, amid beis, leiseit say lechulin. If he separates truma and he's a cheresh, do not automatically say it's nothing. Why? Mifneshu suffix. It's a suffix. So you see, according to him, he has a suffix to the mental capacity of a cheresh. Ken zayin, the cheresh is truma. So that means he has das, somewhat das. So light Rebbe Eliezer is no shaila. Cheresh for cotton, give it to the cotton. Because you see, the cheresh's truma might be truma. In other words, that goes ahead and it gives us an insight to halachically that he must have some das, or else what's Rebbe Eliezer's suffix? Nothing. So therefore, give it to the cheresh, give it to the cotton rather than the cheresh. Right? Kiti boyla, who's the shaila according to? It's only the Rabbanan. That nan, the first Mishnah in Trumas says the Mishnah chamisha lo yisroimemu. There are 5 who should not separate truma. In karmu ain't truma say truma. And in fact, if they take a truma, it's not truma. And elu who are they? Cheresh shayt v'cotton 1. V'atorim esheina shaloi 2. The nachri shetorim eshel Yisrael 5. I feel a bit shusay. Ain't truma say truma. We're counting the cheresh shayt v'cotton as 3 separate. And now clearly, the nachri who does a Yisrael or someone does somebody else's. Guys, clearly like the chachamim, if the cheresh goes ahead and takes off truma, what's the din? It's not truma, yeah? So like them, obviously the cheresh's das is none. Therefore, you have a good kasha. Like them, who takes priority over here? Who's the lesser of two evils? Is it the cheresh or the cotton? Right? Is it the cheresh or the cotton? That's what we want to know. Says the Gemara. Ike the army, I lost the place. Mai. What would be the mile giving it to the cheresh? The cotton asil chaldeus. The cheresh is out of the ballpark totally. He's never getting in the ballpark. The cotton is temporarily out of the ballpark, but eventually he'll get in. So maybe we don't give it to him. Why? The cheresh asil lachufet begadol pikeach. If I see the cheresh carrying, then I mistakenly give it to a gadol pikeach. So therefore, those are the two tzadim. Says the Gemara, there are those who say you give it to the cheresh. There are those who say you give it to the cheresh, right, because the cotton is going to come to mitzvahs. Because the cheresh, you may come to switch for Yisrael pikeach. Okay? Now, Ein sham loy nachri, v'loy chamar, v'loy cheresh, v'loy shaita, v'loy cotton, might. Now, we just got rid of every possibility. What do? Is there any way you can bring this? In other words, the Mishnah gave us about opportunities. The Mishnah said nachri, then it said chamar, then right? And we went down the line. Is there any other way? Is there any other possibility of bringing your wallet home? So Rabbi Yitzchak, it's a funny Gemara. It says on one hand, you know, is there any way? Yeah, there's one more way. However, the Chacham don't want to tell you what it is. Now, what would you say right now? So you guys, so you would be left in suspense, right? Right? No, it's not. This isn't like you tell somebody something and then they're curious. Come on, tell me. Come on, please. I won't tell anybody. You know, when somebody tells you, piques your curiosity. You don't, and it's Gemara. If they don't want to tell us, don't tell us, right? What is the guy's next line of Gemara? My oiracheres. What is that oiracheres? What is that other thing? Funny, right? Funny Gemara. So my lichai pachas midal amis. Okay, we've said we've exhausted this. It's a mithrat masechta, right? It's like there's no chatzi share. We said there's no chatzi share. 2 amis, right? You're able to go ahead and take it for walk, stop, walk, stop, walk, stop. Now says the Gemara, so why did the Chachamim want to reveal it? After all, it seems to be a very, very good Eitzah. And for the Gemara, from a Pasuk, the Pasuk says, Kivoid Elikim haster davar, ukivoid malachim chakor davar. The covenant of Hashem, we hide things, and the covenant of malachim, we delve into things. It says Rashi, Kavod Elikim haster davar, mutter lahasta divrei Torah l'chavet shemayim. It's mutter to go ahead and hide divrei Torah l'chavet shemayim. So what are we hiding over here? We're hiding the fact that you can walk 4 amas with it, less than 4 amas, right? Now, what's the kavet shemayim? V'hachamai kavet shemayim Elikim mikah. It's just a rabbit. You know, you're playing with fire, guys, right? You're going to walk, and you're guys. 4 amas is just a rabbit. The chi of skila. Halacha l'moshe Sinai from the beginning of the Masechta. We're ending the Masechta like we began in the Masechta. Halacha l'moshe Sinai, guys. 4 amas is just a rabbit. The chi of skila. So here's what you're doing. You're walking up to the electric fence and you're stopping. You're walking up to the electric fence and you're stopping. You know, you are constantly. So therefore, we didn't give this eitzah. Kavet shemayim, not to go ahead and be mavra on dalamis. We did not give this eitzah. Tanya Rabbi Eliezer Omer. Okay. Boy bayoim got shusa. Rabbi Yeshua Omer boy bayoim machusa. Now this din of walking less than this issur of walking less than 4 amas, and this is one of the 18 halachas we began in the beginning of the Masechta. We said that in the beginning of the Masechta, they wanted to save Yecheskel. Remember, it said in Sefer Yecheskel, it said certain things that were bordered on kfira, and therefore they wanted to save the Sefer. So they went up to the attic of Hananiah ben Chizkiah, and they were goyis at 18 gezeres, and this was one of them. That that you give the kiss to a guy, you give it to a guy, and that day that you should not come to carry less than 4 amas. If there's a guy, so now is this a good thing? This thing carrying less than 4 amas, not carrying less than 4 amas, is this a good thing or not? That's a machlokes. Says Rabbi Eliezer, I mean, boy bayoim godshu saw. That day they heaped up a saw, meaning this when you heap up a saw, you're getting more. That was a great thing they did, making this gezerah. This is a great thing they did. And Rabbi Yeshua, that they know, they were mochik the saw. Let's see Rashi. Boy bayam godshu saw. And we did this already. Zu achas mehen hoisa kedaminum perakam noisin kisay lenachri boy bayam. What was the gzeira? Shlo yichenu pachas dalam. Shouldn't carry it. And the next Rashi machusa b'mida mechuka. You took a measuring stick and you went ahead and you took the extra and you threw it out. Shaharbe ligs a yosemidai. You made too many gezeres. And the Jews won't be able to keep it. As a result, you're going to be over. As a result, your midas mechuka better to leave it midas tfufa. It's a little heap. Like something they machak mirayv godsha. And it shouldn't come to an exact amount. Tefusah is like a little meniscus above the line. And now you're going ahead and making a gedusha. The machlokes whether it's better or not. I heard from Rabbi Bunstein, he said a gavaldig der. Yud Ches Midis, the Yud Ches Gezeris, that day they were marbu the Talmidim of Shammai over Hillel. The Nimnu v'Gamru, And they were nimnu garam of Beis Shammai over Beis Hillel. There was more, in other words, they passed the day. Rabbi Eliezer was a shemuti. He followed Beis Shammai, so of course he said, "What? That what you share? It's a great thing because again, he went according to his Rabbi, right? Rabbi Yeshua followed Beis Hillel. He wasn't so happy with it. Therefore, very nice sushta. Continues the Gemara. Okay, so now, what do they compare it to? Tanya, Mashal the Rebbe Eliezer says it was a good thing. Ma David Daimeh, Lekupa Malaya Kishuim, Idiluim. You got a kupa that's Malaya Kishuim Idiluim. It's full, right? It's full. What else can you get in there? So Adam Noisim L'Teichem Kardel. You go ahead. You can pour mustard seeds in, and it'll go and intersperse in between. It's full, right? But it's going to go and intersperse between all the frucht, the mechzekes, right? And it'll be even stronger. Mashal Rabbi Yeshua Lo Mehadav Daimeh La Areva Malaya Devash. A bowl full of honey. You drop them in. What's going to happen? And the honey is going to go ahead and fly out. So it's too much. He held the gzeir was too much. Going back over to Brisa, Eini my nachri, my nichol chamar. If you don't have a nachri, it says you put it on the chamar. Guys, it's an issa of mechamer. Guys, manik chamar tu'una kori mechamer. Anyone who goes ahead and leads a donkey that's laden is over on mechamer. This is an issa deraisa. So loy sasa kamalacha. It says you shouldn't do malacha. So if you're going to go ahead and put your kiss on the donkey and lead the donkey, you're going to be over on issa deraisa. So how can you possibly do this? Says the Gemara, no, it's guys, even if we have that workaround because a person is maimin al mamoinoi, we're not going to allow an issa deraisa. We'll give you a heter with a shvus maybe, but an issa deraisa like mechamer, leading a loaded donkey, there's no way we're going to let you do that. Says okay, you know what you didn't? When the donkey's walking, you put it on the donkey while it's walking. So it seems when it's walking, if the donkey is walking, Rashi says, after the donkey gets up to walk, and you put it on the donkey, the love akira here. It's not considered akira. But if your friend is walking, you put it on your friend. It's not considered akira. He has to be stationary. Since the chamor is not stationary, the chamor is walking. So therefore, that's my heter. My heter is it's not an issa deraisa because there was no akira. Says Gemara, "Efsha delay kaima." It's not possible. It's not going to stop to urinate and do other things. And then you have it starts again. You have a kira and anacha. When it goes, you put it on it, and when it stops, you take it off. So you hear this, guys. So we're playing around with haitzah. Akira is nishkan akira. Anacha is nishkan anacha. Why? Because he's walking or stopping. So we'll put it on when he's walking, we'll take it off when he stops. So you have no anacha. Says the Gemara, I feel like a very nami. So what do you need a donkey? So you're doing this haitzah, this shmei drei, is you able to do this? So why do you need what? Why do you need a donkey to do it? You could do it even on a regular Jew. So now, Amra Papa, kol she begufa chayiv chatas b'chaber pat avalasa. Kol she chaveru pat avalasa b'chamari mutal lechatchila. Okay, like this. If this guy would do everything, he would do this carrying it, stopping, starting, going. He'd be chayiv chatas. To be oitzah. So therefore, we have the Tur Shnaim She'asu that we saw early in the Masech. If two people go ahead and do something, you pater. So it's very geschmack. Anything that you would do that you chayiv deraisa, with Shnaim She'asu is pat avalasa. But anything that is pat avalasa by a chamor, one dragger down, will be mutal lechatchila. So you want to know? By you going ahead and starting and stopping, that's pat avalasa. But by a human being, since the whole thing could be, if it was done by him, be chayiv chatas, we don't allow that. Conversely, if you do it by a chamar, since by a human being we pat avalasa, by a chamar it's mutal lechatchila. So therefore, that's why we use a chamar rather than a person. Let's see the lashon inside. No, Papa. Kol shebegufa chayiv chatas b'chaveru pat avalasa. Kol shechaveru pat avalasa b'chamar mutal lechatchila. Now listen to this. This is if you can pull this off. It's Friday, and you're a marathon runner, and you're going to get to your house. It's going to be Shabbos, but before Shabbos you're carrying it, and you start to run, and you're running on Shabbos. When was your Akira, guys? Friday. Your Akira was on Friday, right? You uprooted on Friday. So if you're running and you can run to your house, so the should be able to get there. You got to work around, right? So now, run with it underneath it, meaning it's on your back. And dafka running, but walking along not my time. Even the less like a kera asilamevan. If you're walking, you don't have a kera, you may stop. If you stop, you're finished. In akira vanacha. So when you're running, you have a hecker. When you run to your house, kimat lebesa, you have to like kai porta come out, which is a Rabbi, which is it's not running directly into your house. Pashtus, you're going to stop, and before you get there, as soon as you stop, you're going to go from Rishus HaYachid to Rishus HaRabbi to Rishus HaYachid. So Gemara says, no, we have a workaround over there. Right? What do you do over there? The Zorik le klachayad. You throw it off your back, klachayad. So you run, and then when you get to your house, you throw it off your back. Let's see Rashi on this. It's Friday. The Kiddush Lavayom and it became Shabbos. As long as you don't stop to rest, in kana akira, so you have no akira. Kali means, but do not walk ma'at kloim benachas, because you made lemevet akira v'anacha. Kloim the zimin koi v'lava datoy. You'll stop and not thinking about it. Aval if you're running a kera ikka, you always remember. So what happens when you get to your house? You got a problem of going from Rishus HaYachid to Rabbi, and there you have a klachayad. Shalek derech tzricha. Going sefer blachrav, turn around and just throw it back and throw it off your back that way, and that'll work. Okay, tomorrow Bez Hashem we'll stop over here, and tomorrow Bez Hashem 4:30 we'll see.